welcome to a Halloween layout. Now, this one, I'll be honest, this year I have not bought any Halloween papers. These are still the Simple Stories ones from my purchase last year. So I'm using an Echo Park 6x6 paper pad called Halloween Magic, and I'm using the Simple Stories. I'm looking for where I've got it written. It's over here. The Simple Stories Simple Vintage October 31st collection. And I bought both of these last year, so hopefully you can still get them. If not, I'm sure you've got some papers that are very, very similar. Now, I did this in a power scrap style, and I just head down, and I know that all the stuff when you're using a collection, you know that all the stuff's going to match. So you can either go to town, make it, just do with it what you will. Now, I'll be honest with you, I literally plonked these down and just kept going. I didn't stop. I just made the decision, put them there, and that was that. So I'm running with a diagonal, which is something that I've been really into lately, is a diagonal layout. And the way that I've created that is by using the two 6x6 squares. That sort of gives you the illusion of a, what do you call it? Like breaking a 12x12 into 4. It gives you that sort of illusion. Excuse me. Now, I popped those down, put the photo in the center, and then I thought I want some paper. We don't sort of do so much in the way of paper layers much anymore, and I actually really like it. I didn't get into it a lot, but I have got into it a little bit, and it's basically, for me, I love it when you're down to some scraps. You've got some bits and pieces. So like those spiderweb pieces, I didn't have much of them. I just had those few strips, but I wanted to use them because it introduces white space onto a full color layout. And that's the one bit of advice I can give to people. Well, I give lots of advice, but if there's something that you want to start off with a fully colored background like this, okay? So this is all paper. There's no real mixed media on this one. I've used some pens, that's it. So I completely killed that poor little ghosty. I absolutely. When you're doing the pen like I did around the other ghost, you've got to come in from the back and you've got to keep it at a 90-degree angle. If you tilt it at all, you're going to get wide lines like the ghost up on the right-hand side. So, don't do it that way. Do it the way I did the other ghosts and run your pen around the outside of them, coming in from the back. Now, basically what I did here is I went through what is in this collection and I decided that I was going to cut apart the cut apart sheet, but not quite how they expect you to do it. So I'm cutting out the things that are in the centers of the cut apart sheet and combining them all on a layout so they are all cohesive. So the ghosts, if I had have left them on a square, they wouldn't have fitted on there properly. The word spooky I'm using as my title. It was on I'm just tacking everything down here, guys, because I know this is how I want to leave it. So I just tacked it down with my tape runner. I started gluing those couple of bits because I knew that's exactly where they would go. I should have moved creepy up a little bit, but that's okay. It's all right. It's fine. It is what it is. So basically I just sat and cut out this title. I did leave a little white, very, very fine white border around it, just so it gives it separation from the purple plaid. So that I absolutely love. I love how this title looks, and it looks great on the square, but when you cut it out like this, you're able to utilize more of the cut apart sheet in my mind. So for me, I don't do a lot of tucking. I don't do a lot of tags, but on a layout like this, you can use them as your ephemera, especially for things like Halloween or Easter or I'd like to say Christmas, but there is a lot of Christmas out there. So, when it comes to your special holidays, even things like 4th of July or Australia Day for us, or I'm trying to think of other holidays that there is, if it's a 1 day holiday, for instance, like 4th of July, I don't know about 4th of July. Feel free to enlighten me. I love learning about other people's cultures and their, I love learning about the way other people celebrate things and why they celebrate things, because I just think as a people, it allows us to grow, having empathy for other people and their cultures and the things they celebrate and the things that, maybe we don't celebrate. And for this particular one, it happens to be Halloween. We don't personally do anything for Halloween. We don't decorate our house or anything like that. So for me, I enjoy doing the scrapbooking of it though. So the last couple of years, I've actually got my kids to jump on Snapchat and take some photos for me. So I'm actually able to scrapbook this season, this holiday, which is technically only 1 day. But I want to give you guys ideas because I love the color combination of purple, orange and green. I just love it. And we don't really do the pumpkin thing out here in Australia because at the minute when we have out here, so we're in the process of we're in spring in Australia at the moment, and things are starting to warm up a little bit, and we're still getting cool nights, but warming up a little bit. So pumpkins don't do well out in the heat. Just throwing it out there. It doesn't do well. So for you guys overseas where it's cooling down, it makes sense. For us here, not so much. So I do recall when my kids were younger and I was doing family daycare, we did actually buy some of those orange pumpkins, and they were, I think Drake's had them at the time, and I bought a couple of them because I wanted to carve some pumpkins. I wanted to give the daycare kids the experience because that was something that I used to do quite often when it got to, a different country. We may not celebrate it here. For instance, like Bastille Day and, things like that. Just, I wanted to sort of go a little bit deep dive. I love history and architecture and all that stuff. So I wanted to impart that knowledge onto the daycare kids so they would not only be here for me to look after, but to impart some actual knowledge and education into their childcare whilst they were with me. And I will never ever forget, I had daycare kids this particular afternoon, and it was the children that I looked after were from newborns through to the age of 12, 13. And this particular day, I had about three, maybe four school-age children. So they were, up to 10, 11, something like that. And I will never forget when I turned around and they said, and we were talking about music, and they said to me, one of the girls said to me, so who's your favourite singer? Because I was very well known with all my kids to always have music playing. There was always music of some description. If we were in the car, there was music. If there was, never really listened to the radio with the kids because you just don't know what's coming up in an afternoon drive time, when you're picking up the kids, and you can't let kids hear that sort of thing under your watch. So I used to always play music, and one of the kids said to me one day, what's your favorite band or your favorite song at the moment? And at the time I actually said to him, I said, well, I've got heaps of different bands that I listen to, but I said, if I have to go with an all-time favorite, it's probably Cold Chisel and maybe Kaysan. You know, that was one of my songs that, you know, sort of sprung into my mind. And to my absolute horror, they said, "Who's Cold Chisel?" Now, if you're an Aussie, come on. Like, I thought it was almost sacrilege that there was children in Australia that did not know Jimmy Barnes, did not know Cold Chisel, didn't know, you know, that whole era of music. And it was one of those moments, and I'm like, are you serious? Are you for real? And this was before iPods. This was before, like, let's put this in perspective. Okay. This was, phones were very much a new thing. This was very early 2000s. And yeah, it was one of those moments. It really threw me for a six. So they couldn't just pick up their tablet or their iPhone or whatever and Google Cold Chisel. So it was one of those things that I actually had to get in there and show them physically, you know, and it was pretty, yeah, it was one of those moments. So that's one of the things, and that is why I like to do Halloween layouts, because why not? Just because I don't celebrate it here in Australia. I did with my kids for a couple of years when they were younger. To be honest with you, it scared the hell out of them. We used to go to this, we've got a historical village in our town. Julie, you'll know it. And our historical village was doing I don't know if they still do it, I'm not sure. Julie, if they do, let me know. They ended up decorating, and all throughout the historical village they had all these decorations up, and you'd go out there and you'd get yourself they'd get lollies given to them and all that sort of thing, and it was good, but there was also some, you know, some jumping out, boo, scary things. And to be honest, my kids were like, this is too scary for us. No, we're not up for this. They're just not horror. They don't like the horror thing. We watch on TV. There's a on Foxtel. There's a show called Outdoored, and it's about I think they were octuplets or septuplets. I'm not sure, but anyway, they through the years, and the parents, Danielle and whatever his name is, and they decorate the house, and they love scaring the crazies out of their children. And as I'm mortified as an Aussie, I'm like mortified, going, oh my God, that kid would never sleep again. But it's what they do, and I embrace it. And that's, you know, that's what we do. Everyone is here for everyone else. And just because it's not your thing doesn't mean it can't be someone else's thing. So whilst I've been waffling with my story, I've been scrapbooking along here. And as you can see, I've got myself my black POSCA paint pen. I'm going around just adding a bit of extra definition between the layers. And yeah, and I've just sort of gone around just adding a little bit. I did put the journaling on here because otherwise that blank bit in the middle kind of looked like it was a mistake. So that's where I was putting my journaling on it. So, and I'm just adding some dots just to add a little bit of extra interest in the background with my little tiny cutter parts. And that is my layout, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me waffle on about my craziness and my layout. Let me know if you like it. If you got value from this video, hit a thumbs up. I would love that. Share my channel with your friends. And of course, leave me a comment, because that is my favorite part of doing this whole process, is reading everyone's comments and finding out where everyone is and learning from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is me done. Thanks so much. I'll chat to you soon. Bye for now.